heroin chic was such a weird fashion trend. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Do you guys know what heroin chic was? Because I don't know if I do. I was looking back at it, and it's kind of like, okay, so Kate Moss was really skinny and had like bags under her eyes, and Courtney Love was really popular at the time, and Vincent Gallo was doing these photo shoots where people were really skinny. So it kind of just feels, in retrospect, like a continuation of the same thing we've been talking about in fashion for 30 years at this point, which is like, these people are really skinny. Does that give us a bad impression of things? And is it impressionable on our young people today? And the answer is yes. Yeah, of course it is, you dummy. But I was disappointed when I was looking into the heroin chic trend. I thought it was gonna be real cool. I thought we were gonna have like fake, makeup track marks inside people's elbows. I thought I was gonna see like chunks of puke from withdrawal in people's hair. I just thought it would be more than it was, because here's the thing. I lived heroin chic without the chic. Yeah, so here's the thing. Young people really like drugs, and sometimes they like drugs way too much. And the opioid crisis with opioids, that's what heroin, the family of drugs that heroin is in, it also contains, Oxycontin, stuff like that. But there have been multiple waves of the opioid epidemic, right? And the first one starts in the 90s, I would say. And that is really when the heroin chic trend was getting off the ground. And you're seeing it referenced in movies like Trainspotting and The Basketball Diaries. And Kids, one of the greatest movies of the 90s. But it's very much of an era. A heroin addict at the time was separate from society. And that's what you see in all of those movies, is people that exist outside of normal society. But the thing is, opiates got so popular that they started getting integrated into mainstream culture, because once you get to like 2010-ish, you have the rise of prescription opioids. This is things like Percocet, Vicodin, oxycodone, hydrocodone, even fentanyl, honestly. And that's when I had my foray into the world of heroin chic without the chic, because for me, this would have been 2006, 2007, and it was like just before people realized that like,
maybe this prescription heroin is a bit of a problem.
Well, it was a problem, Laura. Yeah, Laura, the mom of Acadia, who I was banging at the time, and whose medicine cabinet I rifled through, who left her Vicodin in there from a surgery years ago, and then when she found it, she's like,
where did my Vicodin go? Why would anybody want it?
Because it gets you high. People didn't even know that Vicodin got you high. And it was in every medicine cabinet in America, for God's sake. It sounds insane, I know, but for real. So a heroin addict doesn't really look like Trainspotting or The Basketball Diaries a lot of the time. It looks like, I'll show you. It looks like this. This is what a teenage heroin addict looks like, at least in the mid to late 2000s. Looks like an emo kid who's just really fucked up, But I was doing lots and lots of prescription opioids, and when I couldn't get those, I'd be doing heroin. I remember a friend of a friend had cancer, and she was prescribed fentanyl patches, and we would just be like, hey, give those to us. And we would take the cancer patient's fentanyl patches and just chew on them in class. Yeah, I was in it, man, and I think that's why I really enjoy the work of the fashion brand Enfant Riche Déprimé, because this brand was born in the same opiate stew that I grew up in. You see, the founder of ERD is Henry Alexander Levy, and he was a full-on drug addict, And all of his early work is taking the stuff that he would have seen on junkies at the time and appropriating it to make it high fashion. It's very subversive and very interesting. Nowadays, Henry is clean. He's gotten sober. The Narcotics Anonymous kind of chip is a motif of the brand. I don't know if he's in NA or if he got clean himself and just uses it as a motif. For me, I would go to NA and they'd be like, you have to find your higher power. And I'd be like, why? And they'd be like, I don't know, it could be a rock. And I'm like, why the f would I worship a rock? Peace. And I got clean on my own. But if it works, it works. Any way you need to get clean is the way that you should do it. So now the brand ERD, they still do junkie fashion, but instead of being direct references to Henry's life, he creates characters, he creates junkies, and they are still very much living in the world that Henry used to. But the thing is, there is a separation. Henry is no longer in it, he is referencing it. And I know exactly how that feels. I used to be in it. When I was an addict, it was me against the world, and it was just however I could get any money I could, whether it's from my grandma's purse or going to Walmart and stealing box set DVDs of TV series and then walking across the parking lot to the FYE and selling them to FYE for cash. That was a real method I had. But then I got clean, just like Henry did, and it gave me a big chip on my shoulder. I think it gave me a real appreciation for life and a different understanding on the world. Like I would look around and be like, I understand things about life that these people don't. But now, many years later, there's a remove there. I can kind of dip back into it and pull from it and reference it if I want to, but you can never quite get back to that place when you were in it. Because when you're in it, you're desperate and you're flailing and you're sick. And for Enfant Riche Déprimé, it created some incredible clothing. I know a lot of people miss the old ERD. They miss the simpler days when you could have been Jared Leto in Joker makeup, taking photos with fans, and people wouldn't have batted an eye. You know what? They probably would have applauded you, because then the Suicide Squad actually came out and he became a meme for it. But back then, when he was still filming, great, good time. People really miss those times when it was Henry and Courtney Love chilling and shooting heroin or whatever the hell they were doing back then. People just miss that raw addict energy that the brand had, for better or for worse. So today, I've got some really cool pieces to look at. I have two early ERD t-shirts, one of which the fabrication is insane, and the other one is just so early in the brand's history. I have another very early and iconic pair of jeans that I think look awesome. And then I have a pair of boots, Chelsea boots, that's much newer, but I'm throwing it in because then we can make a full fit out of it, and they just look punk as and punk and heroin are like, they're tight, you know what I mean? So I'm excited. I want to see, have we lost something from the early days of ERD? They've been doing heroin chic the entire time. But has something been lost in moving from this is my life to this is me referencing my old life? We're gonna check out all the details of these pieces. We're gonna try them on, see how they feel, how they fit, all that stuff. Stick around. I'm hereby ordering you to join the Patreon. You'll get an exclusive video every month, exclusive Discord access, exclusive deals on pieces featured on the channel. You can get shouted out in videos like Henry, Repost, Flood. Link is in the description. Join the Patreon. I'm so excited for this lineup today. We've got a ton of great pieces. We have 2 t-shirts, jeans, and boots. Let's just start right off the top. Let's start with the t-shirts. And actually, this top one isn't really a t-shirt per se, but it is a classic. This baddie right here is a tank top from, I believe, ERD's first real season as a brand. They did some capsule stuff, some one-offs like the Hermes sweatshirt that I showed in a video last year sometime, but this one is it's just a classic. And can we just appreciate for a second, right? This ERD logo in this all caps, left justified, font, all this stuff. The fact that this is stuck around is actually mind-blowing to me. They were using this from day one, and they still use it today. The hype beasts that you see, the rich boy trust fund hype beasts who are into this stuff, they love these ERD logo pieces, the thrash t-shirts, the pocket tees, all this stuff. It's an iconic logo, but it's just all caps text. It's actually crazy. So this piece embodies a lot of attributes that people love about old ERD. The first thing you'll notice is it is absurdly thrash, both shoulders almost clawed open. Looks so good. And as you get down towards the hem, my God, the body is just ruined. And this is all very intentional. It's also a completely paper thin cotton. You can see my hand through it. That's something a lot of people miss about old ERD t-shirts is like the fabric. Obviously, it holds up terribly. It's only going to get more distressed from here, but it feels so fucking good. It's a cool print. It's like an overprint. So they've done a black print in this rectangle here and then overprinted the white on it. Seemingly, that's what it seems to me, because you can see it's not just like the t-shirt through the black. It is white ink on top of the black. But the print is held up shockingly well, which I think bodes well for early ERD tees in general. But let me show you, here's how early this piece was, okay? So the neck tag here is the giant sewn in one, right? They hadn't yet moved to the neck tags that we know and love today. We do get a nice ribbed collar, but there's no sleeves, it's just completely cut off here and it just naturally rolls. And then at the hem, I found this interesting. They were not even doing single stitches yet at this point. This is just a normal modern t-shirt hem. At this point, they weren't even necessarily always doing size tags. Like literally when they sold this piece to the brand, they just threw the size on the tag itself, or maybe the stockist did, one or the other. And this one just has a complete street punk, gutter punk kind of vibe. I get it's simple. There's not a lot to write home about necessarily, but 4G would cream his pants to have this. All right, next up, we got to give that tank top a buddy because we've got another t-shirt right here. And this one is crazy in a bunch of different ways. So this one right here is the paper thin knit gauze super heroin t-shirt. And I kind of want to start there because the fabrication is crazy. Early on, I feel like ERD figured out very early, way earlier than they had any right to, that they were like, we are the hyper luxury punks. So even at an early stage, they were finding ways to luxuriate their pieces. Because look at this fabric right here, okay? It is paper thin, but it is a knit. It doesn't have like the same type of weave as a t-shirt. I'm not sure how obvious that is. Still not single stitch yet, by the way. But it just has a different look and feel, especially in person. And you're looking at this and you're like, is it silk? That could explain it. But no, let me show you. This is insane. So this one is micro modal and cashmere. What an insane blend. Of course, at this point, everything I think was made in the USA. But now you understand where this texture and softness are coming from. Modal is a fabric that's made from cellulose. I think that basically wood. So it ends up with kind of like a bamboo type of feel. If you ever had like bamboo socks or something, or viscose, it's very, very similar to. And these fabrics are something that ERD, it still goes back to today. You'll see them make like viscose t-shirts and things like that. But the use especially of like a fine knit material like cashmere just elevates the entire thing. And the juxtaposition with the graphic is what makes it so damn good. But first, real quick, just finishing off the little details. It is a super, super deep, wide neckline to the point where it'll barely stay on the hanger. You gotta be really careful with that. And it's a really like tight, thin neck too, not a rib neck. The sleeves are just shorn off, clean off here. And there's a really nice shape to the hem as well, where it rounds up and also breaks at the side, so you get a really nice, open, like flowy fit. But let's talk about that graphic, because the graphic is insane. This is one of my favorite early ERD graphics because it's so striking and so like in line with the aesthetic they had developed. Like you could look at this piece and get a real clear idea of who ERD is, even if you don't know anything about them. So of course it says super heroin with an E, like superhero, whatever, but we all know what we got going on right here, okay? Heroin. He was an addict at the time. He still makes stuff for junkies. It fits so well with everything we're talking about here. But beyond the text, you get this really, really striking cartoon image here of a woman in, I'm guessing, like pantyhose with her pants around her ankles, high heels, very like fetish style, you know? And then she is hung up from a chain by the neck. She's got like a gimp mask on, some sort of like leather, I'm guessing, or latex strapping behind her back. Tits are out, bushes out. It's just like super fucking in your face. So even from this early stage, they were utilizing this BDSM imagery, fetish imagery, all this stuff in order to really be in your face about it. Yeah, this is one of like the coolest ERD pickups I've had in a while, but maybe you'll disagree. Maybe you'll like the next piece more because we've got to look at the jeans, and there's something going on with these. Like, sure, it's a pair of like gray jeans, whatever, but like, what is this? What is that? Let's find out. Whoo, bitch, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me with this? This thing is so good. Okay, we're gonna ignore this for now because that's like the centerpiece, right? That doesn't exist. Let's look at it first as a pair of jeans. So it's kind of like a slightly acid washed gray pair of jeans here. It is a button closure, and each of those buttons is branded with ERD. You'll love to see it. They were doing those buttons a lot at the time. And the denim is really nice. You can see the kind of like weave of that there, classic like Levi's style weave. And it is slim, but not skinny. And you get to the ankles and they're just completely cut off and raw. Pretty much all of the jeans that they were putting out at this point were cut off at the ankles. But I actually really like that one little stitch here just to kind of like keep it all together. And the reason they do that is because they probably sewed them all together and then cut it after sewing. So in order to not let these stitches come undone, they throw a new stitch in there. So there's like some consideration happening already. They did care about the work they were doing, even though they were degenerate drug addict punks at the time. Now they're just degenerate punks. They just cross out the drug addict part. All right. We can talk about the cool stuff because that's kind of what's left to talk about here. So this is a pair of jeans that is covered in a branded t-shirt right here. It is, again, that paper thin cotton. And I'm guessing this started as white, but has kind of taken on some of the color from the denim and stuff over time. Right now, it's kind of like a very light gray, I would say. But you can see heavily thrashed, but it holds together pretty damn well, all things considered. And it's put together well, too. You can see it's sewn right into the side seam here, and that goes all the way up. Then it's sewn in along with the fly. It goes, I love this that the belt loop goes over the t-shirt part, but it is an integral, included part of the piece. Like it's not just dashed on and stitched on after the fact. But much like the tank top, we get the classic ERD logo printed right across it. You get just the riche at the front, but if we turn it around, that is the money shot right there. You get the enfant and déprime, right? Still super heavily thrashed. I doubt you're really going to want to be doing anything with those pockets, but they do exist, both pockets around here. Nice kind of shape going along the buttocks right here. And this is what they did for the back patch at the waistband at the time, in leather, stamped in enfant riche déprimé. And the quality is really solid too. This one's tagged to size 30. We'll definitely talk about sizing later. But the denim, it's pure cotton, made in the USA, and I really love like the lining that they use for the pockets. It's this really nice like striped herringbone type of thing. And the construction is just very solid. I'm a fan. So I think this is a really cool and striking pair of jeans. Sometimes you can find them for like fairly cheap, all things considered. And I think this is a pair that should be worth way more than it often is. And I think it'll get there in the archives because it's just such a cool and unique piece of denim work. All right, freaks, last thing to look at. We've got a pair of green leather Chelsea boots here. I'm so excited. I think these are gonna look great with the pieces we've already got. And these are quite a bit newer than the other pieces we've looked at so far, but I think fit really well into the kind of history of the brand. First of all, the sole here is the same sole I believe that they were using in their Winona boots, which they had been doing for years and years, but just done in a Chelsea style. Like this elastication is awesome. There's a lot of good stretch to it, a really nice pull tab here, and the leather is so dope. I love the texture of it, the worn nature that it has. I actually don't know how much of this was pre-done versus how much was wear from the original owner, but they really don't look like they were worn much at all. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the soles here, it's not a lot of wear. But while we're here, we can see some nice like lug soles in there, almost like iron crossy looking. I wonder if that's intentional, but right there, we can see it's a size 42, made in Italy. We'll talk about sizing later. We'll see how they fit. And you've got the iron cross with the logo in it and the brand name underneath. What a sick pair of boots. But one other thing that you may have noticed is there is some branding here. It's not just a green leather pair of Chelsea boots, which would be cool enough, but up at the front of the ankles, you get the Iron Cross logo right across the front, embossed into both of these. How sick is that? This obviously mirrors the classic hoodie that they did with this print. I have the sterling silver necklace that has this same motif in it, but right there at the front of a boot in green leather, like look at that leather. This is damn good leather, like the pore structure of that, damn good. That looks so sick, and it's just punk as you know? There's actually no branding at the insole, which is a good thing to look for when you're authenticating, because a lot of the fakes put branding at the insole because it makes it like look more real in terms of a luxury sense, but a lot of the ERD footwear does not have branding at the insole. But let me just get these down here. Big, chunky pair of leather Chelsea boots. How is it possible that I didn't own a pair of Chelsea boots before these? But now I do, and they look so fucking good. All right, I'm so curious to hear what you think about these ERD pieces. I don't know. On a quality level, you could say the old stuff was worse, but like the perspective is like unbeatable in many ways. But we've got to try these on. I think the fits on some of these are gonna be interesting. Will they work? Will they not? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, it is time for me to go way back in time, channel my inner 15, 16-year-old junkie self and become the junkie that Henry Levy envisioned when he creates these pieces. And at the time that he made most of these, he was a hardcore junkie himself by all accounts. So let's see if we can do him proud. First things first, let's get some pants on. Let's not make you look at this anymore. So we're gonna do the layered t-shirt, gray jeans. These things are really crazy. I really do love these. They're some of my favorite archival jeans from ERD, but I've never worn these before. So putting them on, I really like how this looks. And the first thing that really stands out to me that I've always appreciated about ERD is that their pants actually fit normal people. Most of these luxury brands, they're using like models as their references, so, you know, like 6'2" skinny dudes, so the fit, especially the inseams, end up getting crazy, whereas these, and pretty much every pair of ERD jeans I've had, actually fit me, and I'm not, like, sure, I am 5'10", but they fit me, and I appreciate that. The look is so interesting. Like, you get this obviously two-tone split thing, and a lot of brands have done that like they do. Balenciaga has done the half and half denim, countless other brands. But this one, it has that punk Skid Row kind of feel because it's like a layered t-shirt. It almost has the look of like tying a long sleeve around your waist or something, but then it's kind of twisted in this really cool way. This one feels very like late 70s CBGBs to me, which obviously is a fitting reference and makes a lot of sense, and I think fits well into the entire like junkie gutter punk aesthetic. But let's get some shoes on. My feet are feeling a bit lonely here. We're gonna do the green leather Chelsea boots, the Iron Cross logo Chelsea boots, again from ERD. And these ones are from just, I think 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago even. But the Chelsea boot is just like one of the most punk things that you can put on. And it is unfortunate that putting them on, like the jeans, they cover the Iron Cross that's up at the front, but unless you're wearing shorts, those will basically never be seen. Those are just for me. They're if you know, you know, and I know, because they're just for me. But I think these two are pairing really well. They're super chunky, almost like platform boots. I'm getting a really big height boost out of these, and just suddenly all my proportions are feeling a lot better once I'm wearing these boots. Like, it makes me feel powerful, you know? The green leather looks fantastic, they feel solid, and here's one thing that I've actually noticed with other ERD footwear too, is that when you put them on, they feel like you're stepping onto a pillow. Their insoles that they use and whatever backing they use underneath, whatever, is like so soft and thick and pillowy. I really like it, they feel really good. They do fit a little bit oversized. These are tagged a 42, which is a US men's 9. To me, I'd say these fit more like a 9.5, which is perfect because that's pretty much my size. But let's get back to the authentically heroin chic stuff from the early days of ERD. And we have this incredibly early logo tank top here. And we saw that this one is tagged a size extra large, and putting it on, Yeah, that kind of checks out. It's very, very long, and it's kind of got like a triangular cut. If you imagine the point of the triangle up at the top, and then it flows outwards as you get down towards my thighs. So you have to have a certain specific type of fit to really make this look. Like, I think the jeans maybe wouldn't be the first choice to go with these if I'm wearing it open and flowy like this. I think some, like, I don't know, even baggy shorts or something would be good for this. Really feeling like you're on the streets of LA looking for your next fix, and you're just wearing whatever you found from the shelter, you know what I mean? I'm also gonna throw on some jewelry. I've got a bunch of ERD and chrome hearts pieces for the rings here, and I'm also gonna put on the safety pin sterling silver necklace by ERD, because I feel like this is one of the first pieces of jewelry they made that really popped off and gained popularity, and it still holds up today. And I think this is looking really good, but it is just quite long for me. I'm kind of drowning in it, and you're losing the allure of the jeans as well. So I want to see what this looks like if you tuck it in. And as soon as I do that, I love it. Again, we're suddenly back to feeling like a late 70s punk thing. I feel like I'm in the Clash right now, you know? It also suddenly gets like a, I don't know, like Muscle Beach kind of like look or something. I vibe with it. And I think in the future, when I choose to wear this out, I think this is gonna be the type of style that I'm gonna tuck it in like this, in a jeans like this. I really like how this looks. Of course, it is a stacked logo piece. We have two logos going on here, and that's too much. It's just too much unless you're like being ironic or trying to make a statement with it or something, which I'm not necessarily, just they both happen to have the same ERD logo on them. But yeah, that's too much, but it's fun. You know, for a video like this, I love it. So I'm gonna pull out this Celine jacket from Eddie Slama's first runway collection for them. This is a piece from the Celine Atelier, made in studio by them, which is so sick, and it's got these crazy leather shoulders that go out, kind of like Michael Jackson vibes or something, but like, this feels so much better. Again, the proportions make way more sense now, and I just feel powerful. I feel strong, I feel sexy, I feel like I'm high as fuck on opiates and they are running through my bloodstream. I'm all about it. And if you were to accessorize, I don't know, maybe you could do like an older Louis Vuitton piece, you know, the brown going with the green and the boots. Let's see, I've got this old LV messenger bag here. If I throw that on, you know what? I'm not mad about it. This strap going across the front, I don't know, I feel like I'm reporting. I'm doing a piece for Punk magazine again in the 70s, you know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm heading straight to the taping of Erg Music War. All right, but that's enough of this shirt because we have one more to look at. We're gonna check out the Super Heroin Modal cashmere t-shirt here. And throwing it on, this one is crazy. Whoa, so the neckline is insane. I really like the natural bunching and things that happen here as you're wearing it. It just feels very casual in so many ways, but like casual in that luxurious sense. Like you're so rich, you're so dripped out that you're not worried about anything at all. So I think this is nice. I think it's fun. It's obviously crazy, crazy comfortable. And it does have that classic kind of like Larry Clark shooting up vibe. But first, we got to tuck this shirt in as well. It can't have that flowing at the bottom. And again, I really like how this looks tucked in. Damn, it looks really, really damn good. I think this is the move for both of these. Okay, let's get this jacket on, and in doing so, I'm still vibing. I'm still about it. I think both of these pieces have a very similar like spirit to them. They feel very much like of a piece. And again, doing that messenger bag, I like it. Some of you are gonna hate this. You're gonna comment, why the hell would you use that LV messenger bag? I think it kinda works. So there are things I like about every single one of these. The boots are gonna be all-rounders. I'm gonna wear these all the time. The jeans I could see working in quite a few scenarios. And then both of these shirts are gonna be like pinch hitters. Like they could really pull a fit together in some specific circumstances. So I'm psyched on all of these. And I think all of them together show that even in the year of our Lord, 2020X, whatever it is now, that heroin chic, for better or worse, is alive and well. All right, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Take a look at the other video on screen here. Subscribe, like, comment, do all these engagement-y things that help me in the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you let me know which piece is your favorite. Do you prefer old ERD, new ERD? Does it all feel kind of the same to you? How do you feel about all this stuff? I'll see you next time.